Number 5. Chris Jericho. When he first came to the World Wrestling Federation, I actually didn't really like Jericho. I thought there was too much of a WCW feel to him. But fast forward just a few short months and he was one of my favourite wrestlers in the company. You know, if you look back at the year 2000, possibly the hottest year in the history of the WWF. Okay, granted Stone Cold was injured, but aside from The Rock, Jericho was the most over wrestler in the company. I can remember a specific episode of Raw in April 2000 where we were led to believe he'd beat Triple H for the WWF title. And the reaction from the crowd was just incredible. Like, I dare say you don't get a reaction like that at a WrestleMania today. And I think that's another thing about Jericho was he was a great wrestler. I think people talk about like how witty and great he was on the mic, which he was, but he was a really, really good wrestler with a lot of great matches. And you see him now in AEW, like he's really always found ways to reinvent himself and had such a long and storied career. He really is one of the true greats of the wrestling world. Number 4. The Rock. The Rock is arguably the greatest wrestler ever to cut a promo. And like Jericho, he had so much wit and just oozed personality and charisma. He was great both as a heel and a face. He had fantastic rivalries with Mick Foley, Triple H and Stone Cold. I think during the Attitude Era, you were either a Stone Cold guy or a Rock guy. And I was always on the side of the Rock. I think their match at WrestleMania 17 was just the pinnacle of the Attitude Era. Two of the biggest wrestlers in the history of the company going at it for the WWF title. And you know, for all his success in Hollywood, for me, The Rock will always be a wrestler first, actor second. Number 3. Edge. I remember when he first came to the WWF, there was real mystique and intrigue about him. He was this loner character that came through the crowd, and as a fan I immediately gravitated towards him. But not just for the character, I also loved the moves he did and the way he wrestled. Of course he joined Christian and Gangrel to form the Brood, and they had that amazing music and the amazing entrance coming up through the fire. But I think my most fond memories of Edge are when him and Christian became the comedic duo. I think their characters became more fleshed out and they got to talk a lot more. Then of course they had the iconic rivalries with the Hardy Boys and the Dudley Boys. You know, those TLC matches used to almost always steal the show at pay-per-views. I think aside from the 80s, that was the real height of tag team wrestling. I do have to say that by the time he got to the top of the roster, I wasn't as in love with wrestling as I had been. But I was always glad to see that he made it to the top and became a world champion. Number 2. The Ultimate Warrior. Perhaps the greatest entrance music ever for a wrestler. Warrior was all about the character and presentation, coming out with all that energy and intensity. He'd get people off their feet and create this real buzz, anticipation and excitement. And yeah, he might not have been the best wrestler in the ring, but his signature moves were great. The military press slam, the shoulder blocks, the splash. And most of these matches might have been short, but they were always entertaining. Of course, I can't not mention the iconic moment of WrestleMania 6 where Warrior went in as the Intercontinental Champion and defeated Hogan to become the WWF Champion, proving that no one wrestler was bigger than WrestleMania. Despite what anyone says, the Ultimate Warrior is an iconic figure in wrestling. Number 1. Bret Hart. As the late great Roddy Piper once said, Bret Hart was a wrestler who had the total package. Some like to say he wasn't great at promos, but if you look at his 97 heel run, when the Attitude Era was really starting to brew, he showed he could do promos that had real grit, realism and engagement. Then he had a great look, with the pink and black attire, the leather jacket and the sunglasses. And then his wrestling. For me, Bret Hart made wrestling feel real. He brought such an art form and psychology to his matches. In a Bret Hart match, he would do moves that made sense. He would alter his game plan depending on the opponent. It felt like how someone would really approach a real fight. A fantastic technical wrestler with so many classic matches. For me, Bret Hart is arguably the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. Okay guys, if you enjoyed that video, please give it a like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments, what would be your top 5 favourite wrestlers? And until next time, slán go fóill.